You need to know this. Get ready to kiss the internet as we know it goodbye. That's because the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, the second most powerful court in the country after the Supreme Court, is getting ready to turn the internet into a crummy, expensive toll road. Maybe. Let me explain. For years, the American internet has been based on a very simple principle. Big corporate internet providers like Verizon and Comcast cannot treat the internet as if it was their own personal highway. By law, they have to treat all websites and all web users equally, like big public highways. Companies like Verizon are not allowed, for example, to run a music website at crappy speeds just because that music site might compete with a Verizon-owned music website. This principle is called net neutrality. It's important because it keeps the internet open for all. If corporate internet providers were allowed to discriminate between websites, they could make the owners of competing websites pay them top dollar in exchange for running their websites at higher or even normal speeds. Without net neutrality, Verizon could and probably would treat the internet like its own privately owned highway. People who wanted to drive on it would have to pay up beforehand. If those people didn't pay up, Verizon could slow down the speed of their website. This would obviously be great for Verizon, but it could make it near impossible for rival websites to compete with Verizon-owned websites and could put a damper on all innovation, which is why big corporate internet providers have been for years trying to gut net neutrality. And now they have their best shot yet. That's because right now, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, the court that handles most cases involving federal regulations, is deciding the case of Verizon versus the FCC. Verizon is challenging the FCC's power to regulate the internet and wants the D.C. Circuit Court to strike down net neutrality. Stakes couldn't be higher. The D.C. Circuit Court currently has an even 4-4 split between Democrats and Republicans. And according to most reports, the judges were sympathetic to Verizon's point of view during oral arguments in September. Meanwhile, Republicans are doing their best to make sure that Democrats, who normally support things like net neutrality, don't get a majority on that D.C. Circuit, which still has 3 vacant seats. Just last week, for example, Republican senators blocked the confirmation of Patricia Millett, who, if confirmed, would have given Democrats a 5-4 majority on the D.C. Circuit Court. And that's not even the worst of it. Iowa Republican Senator Chuck Grassley actually wants to strip the 11-seat D.C. court of 3 of its seats to make sure that President Obama never fills the court with Democratic nominees. You get a Republican president, of course, they'll probably put him back. But anyhow, why does this matter? It matters because the D.C. Circuit Court has power over all cases involving federal regulation. If Republicans can continue to successfully sabotage President Obama's attempts to fill those 3 remaining empty seats, that could mean the end not only of net neutrality, but a whole host of laws that are enforced by federal agencies. If Republicans can keep Democrats from taking a majority in the D.C. Circuit, they can use its power to gut workplace laws enforced by OSHA, to take away the EPA's power to regulate greenhouse gases, you name it. The D.C. Circuit Court is right at the center of the Republican and corporate-led assault on regulation. The fight over net neutrality is just the latest battle in that war. Of course, you won't hear any of this on Fox so-called news, let alone the so-called liberal media like MSNBC and NPR. MSNBC is owned by Comcast, one of the largest internet providers, and NPR just began running Comcast ads. Heard the first one today. They might have been running for a little while. Good luck catching anything about net neutrality over there.